Oh, that was fun. We got to do more of that. Thank you, Mr. Grant, for coming on from Apptopia. Alrighty, guys. I see my man from Impeccable Investor hanging out backstage. Austin Booley. We got to give him our special Zinger Nation welcome. When we come back, we'll be chatting to Austin about what he's been watching, what he's been trading. Do not go anywhere. Mr.
Hey,
Austin, how you doing today?
good morning, Aaron. So glad to be here.
Good. Your email signature was from Impeccable Investor. Is that all right? I'm seeing a different name on here now.
Yeah. So it's the impeccable investor, impeccable stock trends. The whole thing is kind of together. So, yeah.
Beautiful. So this is your first time on the show, at least with me. Let's before we get going, why don't you just give us a brief introduction into who you are, what you do, how long you've been in the markets and in the game for, if you will.
Yeah, so I mean, you said this already, but my name's Austin. I've been in the game since 2016, which for me was 16 years old, so very young. I was one of those weird kids who you would drive past the gas station.
You were born in 2000?
Oh yeah, I know, right?
Holy cow, I'm old. All right, go ahead. You
were
driving past the gas station.
I drive past the gas station, and I noticed how the price would change. So as a kid, I thought it'd be a fun game to be like, okay, am I buying today? Okay, so the gas price is going up tomorrow. Did I make money? Did I lose money? And so I was always that weird kid messing with numbers. Anyways, but that led to me just finding
that is weird. That is
exploring
weird.
stuff. And now we're here. I do a lot of swing trading, stock trends. I built a social media following, and now my main gig is the software platform, which is a research platform for swing traders who want to learn the trends of stocks and know what's going on and why.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean that's taking it to a next level, because I think a lot of kids, kind of start looking at numbers and seeing things differently, and they're intrigued by math and stuff. But thinking about if you would be buying and selling gas really takes that to the next level. I mean, I'm sure you've got some interesting stories, but Austin, so let's take a look at. Or I guess let's talk about what's going on right now. I mean, it's an interesting time with the Fed, inflation, everything going on. I mean, what's been top of mind for you?
Yeah, so what's been top of mind for me is the statistics around. I'm a very math person, if you haven't guessed yet. But is the pre-election year statistics. So in the market, the S&P 500, if you're looking at the ETF SPY, is what we're seeing is that on average, when we have a year before a presidential election year, we average about a 16.3% return that year. So we have all this crazy stuff going on with the Fed, with interest rates, with all this stuff, and it can kind of be a dampener on things. But what we see is, statistically speaking, this is going to be one of the strongest years that we've seen in a very long time. And that's actually a really strong statement compared to the year that we had in 2020, when we had that initial crash with the reaction to the global pandemic. And then we actually saw a really strong rise in stocks. And that's kind of what is forecasting here for this year, for the pre-election year. And so that's really what my data is based on. And so the stocks that I'm looking at for that, it's definitely the S&P 500, QQQ for the NASDAQ, and then also some individual stocks. I'm looking at Apple, Exxon, and Workday are kind of some that I'm looking at mainly for those bottom type of recoveries. So yes, that's kind of what I'm looking at.
Got it. So walk me through exactly what the software product is. I mean, what do people get, from the, is it an actual software, or is it more just like kind of your trade ideas?
Yeah, so it's an actual software. So the software will go in, it pulls, like when you look up a stock, it will go through 5 years of historical data for that stock. I'll look at, okay, how well has this stock trended in the past? And it looks through that trend, and it gives you, based on math, based on the algorithm around it, how well does this trend? What is the momentum and strength right now? Does it have the potential to make me money? And if so, what is my trade plan? Where should I be buying in? Where should my stop loss be? Again, based on how volatile this stock is, and so many other things like that. So it's really a great research platform for people who are more of a trend follower or a swing trader.
Got it. I mean, so I guess in terms of people that are out there, is it mostly like retail investors that are buying the software services? Is it, funds? Who are the main customers?
We have a few funds, but it's mainly retail investors. Yes.
Okay. And then do you personally, I mean, are you basically trading or investing based off like these algorithms or whatever? Or are you like also then you're personally like looking at the data and then giving your own like personal insights and what you think?
Yeah, so I'm personally trading off the algorithm in the software, but then I also have my own takes on stuff. So like throughout the software, if there's a stock that I have interest in, then I'll make like a little video or like comments in addition to all the research you get with that. So that's like my own little personal addition to those comments and whatnot to those stocks.
Got it. Got it. Got it. So you mentioned Workday. What was the what was the trade you were looking at in that stock?
Yeah, so Workday, I really love Workday because of it has great potential to the upside and relatively low risk right now. It's at that low and it's really approaching a great resistance level. From a technical chart perspective, it almost looks like a triangle breakout pattern, kind of forming to the upside with a lot of upside after we break that resistance level. I forget exactly where that resistance level is. I can't see it on the chart, but it's exactly where you put that line or where that line current like where
Yeah, I think it's right around 185.
around 180. Yeah. And so again, you have a lot of upside for very low down risk. So again, that's kind of why I like Workday. And so again, that's what we've been seeing a lot here in the earnings season is that the stocks have been going down forming these lows and then starting to bottom out and actually starting to recover. And these earnings, although not as great as we want them to be, have actually sparked some upside after we're kind of dipping. And so that's what Workday is showing, as well as some other stocks like you have like PNR. I know AMD is coming out later today and ExxonMobil, but that's been trending up regardless. But PNR is another example of like Workday, I guess, where you kind of have that coming out and then it kind of on earnings is actually spiking up. So yeah, that's just seeing the same thing, almost like an inverse head and shoulders type pattern, but you're kind of forming that bottom and now the trend is starting to push up and we're seeing that momentum and string kind of building around that. So yeah, we're seeing this trend with earnings. We're kind of seeing that dip, that turn, and we're kind of building up. But again, like I said, this is the pre-election year and statistics show that we're starting to build into the strongest months coming here soon.
Got it. Yeah, and I like kind of a few things you're doing there, Austin, and weighing just the relative, risks and returns, which sounds obvious as like an investor or trader
Yeah.
why you would want to do that. But saying, looking at Workday as an example, saying like, hey, there's relatively low risk to the downside, right? Like this thing bottomed out at around 140. It's at like 180 now. Like worst comes to worst, it's probably just going down to those lows and not much lower. Whereas the upside, looks a lot higher,
Definitely.
a lot more to go than to the downside. So, and I think a lot of people that for whatever reason kind of are like steadfast in their bearish positions right now, or still think like some huge, massive recession is coming, like at least for stocks themselves, like a lot of these have been beaten down so badly already. Like I feel like I don't know. Like, I feel like some people forgot when they're like, it's like we've already seen, a lot of these tech companies come down 70, 80%. If you're looking at like crypto or whatever, it's like we act like Bitcoin didn't go down from 65 to, 16 or whatever, 15.
Yeah, crazy. Yeah, I mean that's really the whole idea around like trend following is that the trend will tell us what's happening in the market right now. So we can have all our ideas or assumptions, be fearful, whatever we want to be or whatever we want to think about the market. But whatever the trend is right now is what we should be basing our position in our trades off of. And so that's really how the software kind of simplifies things. It kind of just gives you the research. Okay, you can be fearful, you can be this. Because I know back during the global pandemic, personally, I was like with all the stimulus checks and stuff, like I think the market should be crashing more, but I was still trading and making money to the upside because that's where the trend was. So as long as you're following the trend on whatever the trend is now, then you should be fine. But yeah, there's definitely a lot of fear in the market with everything going on right now.
Got it. So I mean, do you what's your like general are you trading mostly? Are you like do you trade and then also have an investment account? How do you kind of manage that?
Yeah, definitely. So I started swing trading myself, and then that's kind of how it kind of brought about research and stuff. And then I built the software mainly for myself, and then other people started joining as well, and then it became a bigger thing. But yeah, so I'm a swing trader, so I'm looking for stocks that have potential to grow within a week to a few months. So that's kind of my whole period, just looking for strength within that kind of time period.
Got it. And what so you don't necessarily like have a long-term investment account as well, or do you also
Yeah, I
just like
do.
buy and hold stuff?
It's yeah. So I do about 50% is long term, 50% is swing trading, and most of my long term investments is just in SPY.
Okay. Yeah, that's so. I mean, like, let's take a look. I've got the SPY chart pulled up right here. I
Mhm.
mean, well, I've got the 5 minute chart because I was curious if we're close to the high of the day. So I was looking to see
Okay.
if we were gonna potentially try to break out here. But I'll pull up the daily chart. I mean, how you feeling? Like, you think we've got like things have been pretty good so far in 2023.
It
Knock on
has, man.
wood. It's been a new year so far.
Yeah.
How you feeling? Are you feeling good? Are you feeling like well that's gonna continue, or are you worried?
I'm actually really hopeful for this next month. So if we're looking at it, the market was trending up, then we kind of hit that market top, and then we've been trending down for most of the end of 2022. But now we kind of broken that down trend line around the level where it is at now. We're kind of hitting those resistance points. But what I'm really hoping on and betting on is that February, on average, or over the last 84 pre-election years, has averaged a 2.8% return in the month of February for the S&P 500. So considering we're setting up near this resistance level, we're actually looking kind of strong. Volume is at least there enough to support the move. And we have our average for February to be almost a 3% return. I think we're setting up for a good February at least, but that's just what I'm looking at based on statistics and trend. I'm hoping that we kind of get that push into February to kind of set us up for the rest of the year. But January has been great and we can't complain. So yeah, it's been good so far this year.
Yeah, I really do think February will be kind of pivotal for the market because
Mhm.
like we've said, I mean January has been great. SPY's up, again, knock on wood, up another 0.7% today, but it's up like more than 5% on the month now. And the way I see it is if February like continues strong,
Yeah,
I think that's going to get a lot more people bought into the market that maybe have been
definitely.
watching it this past month thinking like, okay, this, like I'm going to wait till after earnings, or I'm going to wait till,
Yeah.
Powell says this, or I'm going to wait till this. And then eventually, like all these people that are sitting here saying, I'm going to wait for this, I'm going to wait for that, are going to see the market keep moving up, or if the market keeps moving up, and then want to hop in and start buying.
Yeah, we need something that is going to re-encourage, re-inspire investors to jump back in the market. And definitely, if February is a strong green month, then we'll definitely have that push in, which again is just going to exemplify the movement, and we're going to see a stronger push up for the rest of the year. Which again, I'm hoping for, but also expecting based on statistics, a strong first half of the year, and then as we get into summer, I expect a very slow down, maybe even a slight pullback or reversal. But I'm really hoping and looking for a strong February, March, in April.
Yeah, so we're gonna have to wait and see because
Yeah,
again,
who
like
knows?
looking at the SPY daily chart, if we get this confirmation here, or if
Mhm.
we like break this 410 level and start. Here's the thing: is I've still been hearing people, well, we're still making lower highs, we still haven't made any
Yeah.
new so if we start taking out those lower highs and start making higher lows or
Mhm.
higher high, whatever you want to say
Yeah.
it, if it
Yeah.
keeps going up, like that's basically the bottom line, then
Mhm.
I think it's starting to our 70-inch. Sorry, I just got so distracted by a
You're
comment. It's
good.
crazy.
The
Our
inch.
70-inch flat screen HD TV is considered furniture. That's a good question, Jay. I don't know. I would think a TV is considered more of a
I
no,
thought.
I think like furniture, the furniture has to be like a dresser or a couch or a bed. Like a TV is more of an appliance almost. Not even an appliance, an electronic. You give it appliances, electronic. I don't know. What do you think, Austin?
I don't know. I would say let's just call it a furniture because technically it goes on like a furniture, so you can consider it just one whole thing.
Oh,
But
yeah.
I
Well,
don't
actually,
know.
can we zoom the camera down? Because to your point, we do have a TV like mounted on this
Oh, dude.
desk.
Yeah. See, so it's
So
like
this,
one thing.
yeah, it's basically a wait here. Let me see. All right, here we go. If I go wide, yeah, at the bottom you can kind of see the
Yeah.
TV there. So that yeah, I mean, once the TV is sitting on the desk, then it becomes like one piece of
Yeah.
furniture, one
But before
object.
that, it's just an electronic, I guess.
I like that. All right, but we could probably go all day arguing about that. So, Austin, what about other stocks? We talked about Workday. You mentioned Pentair as well as Exxon. Any other
Yeah.
stocks you're watching right now?
Not really. I guess Apple, and maybe actually one I came across this morning that interests me, but I don't know much about it, would be SRRK. Um, I think it had some great potential as a recovery. But again, it is down big, and so I don't really want to bet against that trend, it trending down. But again, it does have some potential as it's reversing and heading more back up to the upside. Yeah, what are we saying there?
So I was just looking at the chart real quick, and then I went to
Okay.
the overview. This is in Benzinga Pro,
Mhm.
pro.benzinga.com.
Yeah.
I was just reading the overview to see what it was because I'm not familiar with the company. Scholar Rock
I'm
Holding
not either.
Corp is a biopharm company. It is
Mhm.
engaged in the discovery of development of innovative medicines for the treatment of serious diseases, including neuromuscular disorders. So yeah, it sounds like kind of like a pre-rev biotech company,
Yeah.
maybe.
And probably
Um,
something I might avoid then. Yeah, I just saw it come up and I was
no,
curious
I
about
mean
it.
from a
Yeah.
chart perspective, though, it doesn't look.
Yeah, it's not too bad.
No, it looks nice actually. It's coming up like it's consolidated well and is now coming up making higher lows and if you break here, I would say from like $15 and there's
Yeah.
certainly room to run. So I'll have to keep that one on my radar as well. SRRK. What about a kind of like instead of talking about stocks right now, what about in the past? Like what have been your favorite stocks to trade? Have you had any like specific like, oh, that time I bought those calls on Amazon before earnings was like my favorite trade ever. Do you have any of those?
Oof. I mean, a generic trade would be Apple. I had a long trade of that for a while, and I was doing covered calls on that, so that was a great trade. But I can't think of any outside of that. I am a very slow trader where like I take very slow, small gains. Like I'm not going for like the penny stock moves. I don't have any like I made 100% overnight type deal. Um, but yeah, definitely Apple. I love trading Apple with covered calls, especially in this earnings environment. It lifts up the implied volatility, or not even implied, but the actual, and it increases the options premium. So it just makes covered calls a lot more advantageous. So yeah, that's been fun in this market.
Yeah, nice. I always love asking people that kind of like their favorite trades of all time. Well, Austin, this has been a great conversation. I'm glad that we
Yeah.
found a time to get you on Benzinga Live. Where can folks find more from you?
Yeah, so I'm on almost every social media platform at the Impeccable Investor. You can find me there, YouTube, podcasts, Instagram. Would love to connect with people.
Awesome. Well, everyone, I'll drop your Twitter in the chat. Everyone, go give Austin a follow. Austin, enjoy the rest of your Tuesday.
All
We got to
right,
get you on Benzinga Live again sometime
definitely.
soon. Hope you enjoyed it.
See you, Aaron.
Alrighty, y'all. That was Austin from Impeccable Investor. Like I said, gonna drop his Twitter in the chat. But alrighty, y'all. We've got about 10 minutes till our next guest, Clinton from Crypto Tax Audit. Um, Before we get to that, y'all have any stocks, any trades that you guys would like to chat? I do want to. We can talk about AI stocks for a second. So, the ticker AI is up 26% today. If we look at it from a daily